Welcome to your energy update with the angels. I'm Devon Duerr, angel intuitive and spiritual teacher. The overall energy right now is bringing projects to successful completion. What have you recently completed or are you about to complete? Well, the angels want you to know it's bringing you success. Okay, we're going to dive deeper into this guidance, but first I'm going to invite you to affirm this guidance and open up to it by writing an affirmation below. I do customize these affirmations to go with the guidance and help you open up to understand what messages are meant for you. So if you feel called to, below this video in the comment section, write the affirmation, I am successful. I am successful. Now, you don't have to if you don't feel called to do that, but keep listening to these messages and try to open up to what resonates with you because this is a group reading. I do set the intention that these messages reach you when it's in your highest interest. And of course, I always say that prayer protection, that they be in the highest good for you and that I'm only connecting with God's highest vibrational beings. But we do often miss messages because we're closed off to the idea that success really is coming for us. So let's dive deeper into these messages where they're talking about how recently you've completed a project or you're just about to, and it's going to bring you that contentment. It's going to bring you that peace and ultimately the abundance you are seeking. So keep that in mind as you listen to these messages because that energy is right there right now at the time you're hearing these messages. Now, these messages will find you when you're meant to, and you might feel called to come back to them at a later time. And that is because we have the ability to use the power of hindsight, which is one of the most valuable tools for understanding the way you receive guidance from your angels, the way you use your natural born intuitive abilities. In fact, you are here because you are highly intuitive. You are a light worker, whether you acknowledge it yet or not, whether you do it as a profession or not. You are here to bring light to the world and show the world your creative way of doing things. We've had a lot of messages recently about being really authentic, but also being independent in the way we create things. So let's go deeper into these messages so you can see how that applies to you. Now, they do see the way it's been challenging for a lot of us to find organization and logic amongst all the chaos, amongst the busy energy. So maybe you were rushing to meet a deadline with a project, or you're rushing to finish studying before you finish up a semester away at college, and you're so focused on getting that done that things got out of order. You know, maybe you misplaced a notebook, you don't know where your keys are, you're running around trying to get things done. But they do want you to know that's coming to an end soon because you will be completing these projects, or you recently have, and that's going to bring this calming energy in. But it is important that you continue to be your own leader and you apply structure and discipline to your life. So let's just use the example of school, although I know many of you are not in school or you're retired, but let's just use that example. When the school year comes to a close, you've been in this very structured daily routine of going to class, doing your studying, doing what the teacher said, leaving when the bell rings, being in the next chair by the time the bell rings, right? And then summer hits, finals are over, you don't have that schedule anymore. And yes, that's peaceful, but it can actually invite more disruption down the road if we don't begin to create a new routine. Now, it doesn't have to be with quite the same discipline that you had during school where you had to make sure you were ready for a pop quiz at any point in time. But what are some things you could begin adding into your life right now that are going to bring you more of that abundance? For example, maybe you didn't have the time you normally like to have to get your exercise in. Can you start doing that now? Maybe normally you had to get up super early and you're really wanting to start sleeping in. Or is there another way to get more sleep? Could you just still continue to try to go to bed earlier or take a look at your daily schedule? Now, of course, since I said a lot of this is not going to apply to people when it comes to the example of school, apply this to whatever else is going on in your life. Maybe it's your kids who are finishing up school. Maybe you are recently retired and you're so used to that work schedule. You're trying to figure out, how do I feel productive and stay organized, protect my time and keep creating, but not be at the pace I was at before. So keep working on that. The angels see the way you're ready to move away from that energy. In fact, if you did see my most recent video, they were talking about a lot of us having a real desire to move away from something. We've been working so hard with our spiritual growth that we are realizing we are not resonating with certain energies. We are growing emotionally. We are learning how to ground ourselves at a much faster pace than those around us. So who comes to mind? What activities, what groups come to mind where you feel like maybe you've outgrown that environment? Now, it doesn't mean we're letting people go, we're cutting friends off, we're just cutting people out of our life. But it could just be that you've realized you've grown out of an energy and it's time to do something more innovative, move away from that situation and do something different. Well, at the time you're hearing these messages, they want you to know new inspirations are available to you right now if you honor the truth in that situation. So maybe you did know, okay, once I finish my finals or once I finish this work project, I'm going to just relax. I'm going to get out there and start working on my creative projects. Then it feels challenging. You don't feel like you're being allowed to do that. It's like I checked off all the boxes. I finished my to-do list. That was another message I know we've gotten in the recent videos was to buckle down, focus on honor your commitments. So maybe you did have a commitment to a work project or to a group of people like, I'm going to be here volunteering to do this till this amount of time and now I'm done. But once you're finally done, you're like, I have all this time, but I'm not able to get started. Things keep coming up. That's why they want you to have that structure and discipline. This is where people get caught up in conditioning. Believe it or not, budgets, financial budgets, budgeting with your time, budgeting with your energy, they actually free you up. They can give you freedom, but people don't see it that way. They go into lack mentality. They see it as a restriction. But when you earmark time or money or resources to do something you want to do, then when it's time for you to pick those resources up and use them, it's there for you. It's available. So I know somebody who needed to hear that right now because you might feel like, I don't want to budget my time. I'm finally retired or I'm finally done with school. But by budgeting your time, it allows you to really feel good about doing the things you want to do. If you do want to set aside time to binge watch a Netflix series you've been waiting to watch, do that. But budget around it where you get your laundry done first, you get your exercise in, you honor your other commitments so that you can truly embrace that energy. I just feel like somebody needed to hear that right now. So kudos to you for understanding that it's meant for you. But keep going with these new ideas that are available to you. And if you do feel challenged in your beginning, like you do feel like, okay, I finally finished this and now I'm ready to start on something new, then open up to where you've grown out of an energy. Maybe you've even grown out of your own resources. Are you somebody that's always used your phone camera and microphone to do your creative work, and now it's time to go ahead and invest in a better microphone and better camera? You'll know what that is for you, but there's something that you have outgrown in your life, and by taking advantage of recognizing I've outgrown this situation, I need to do something higher or bigger or move away, you're going to be inviting in new partnerships. And this is so exciting because when you're able to really embrace your authentic energy and show others how creative you are, how inspiring you are, and how you really are willing to be independent in the way you work, then other people will see that and they will resonate with that and they will move towards you as well. So if someone new comes into your life soon, don't be surprised. Check in with your intuition, of course, to see if your energies resonate, because remember, you have grown. So make sure you are on the same level, but there is someone new coming in for you or somebody recently who has come into your life. You're about to grow a lot closer. I am getting for some of you, this is a romantic partnership that is going to go to the next level, or it's a friendship that's going to become romantic. But for a lot of us, this is actually going to be groups of people, collaborations that are coming in where they see your hard work. They see the way you successfully completed something, and they're attracted to the way that you are motivated, the way you're a leader. Now, you're going to get a lot of personal power when you trust how your new ideas are bringing you success and trust that it's going to bring this happy outcome. And it's going to be really important you remain confident in yourself. So as these new people are coming into your life, look to see if they are confident in their projects and where they're going with life to see if you are at the same vibrational level. Now, a reminder here too, we're not looking down on others if their energy doesn't match. It's not always a match of, okay, they're low frequency and I'm high frequency. Sometimes they're both high frequency. They're just on different trajectories, if that makes sense, or going in different directions. So it's not that they're not high vibration, you just have a different focal point and a different purpose of what you're doing. So this is where it's really important to review everyone's motives. Now, another thing they're cautioning us about is we might be surrounded by people, news headlines, family members who are expecting things to turn out horribly. They're getting stuck in self-fulfilling prophecies. They're attracting those things. They're, waking up at night, worrying about things, messaging you about things. You're going to want to shield yourself from that energy. Make sure you're spending a lot of quiet time alone as you're working on these new creative projects, as you're finding ways to move forward, even if it's been a little bit challenging to get started on this new routine, this new schedule, this new project that you're wanting to do. Because I'm getting that for a lot of us listening here, these projects that you're about to complete or you recently completed, they involved a lot of other people, so you weren't necessarily able to do it exactly the way you wanted. You were asked to not only collaborate, but compromise and cooperate. And now you're like so ready to do it the way you want to do it that it's challenging when other people are calling you up and asking for your help or telling you like this isn't going to work. So make sure you're spending extra quiet time alone, journaling, checking in with your spiritual team to connect and make sure that you are still on the path that is right for your heart. We have to remember to listen to our heart and not let all the noise around us of people being worried affect where we are going with following our heart. They're giving me another example right now about a student, so I don't know who's listening here who may even be looking to take a gap year. Maybe you finished up high school or a semester of college and you're ready for a gap year before you go on, and you're having your parents call up and worry. You're having professors or mentors saying this is not a good idea in this economy. So you have to take quiet time alone to see, are they telling me something that I feel is true or not? And I can't answer that for you either, and neither can the angels, because the angels will never tell you what to do. They do not want you to give your power away to anybody. What they want you to do is ask your heart, and they want you to check in with your intuition, and they will send you loud and clear signs. Now, of course, for many of us, this doesn't have anything to do with school or gap years, but you know what this is for you. There's something that you're ready to do in your own way, and it's going to be really important that when people call you up and say, that's not going to work, or hey, why are you doing that? I don't like that. That's making me feel threatened. Review their motives. That's how you can do it. And also remember, this is where it's really important to review your own motives, because sometimes we're doing things to please someone else instead of to please our own heart. Often we are also doing things to please our mind, our social conditioning, the way we were raised. Our mind says, you can't do that. That's not the way it's done. And your heart's saying, but I feel like it is. We're going to innovate this. We're going to do it differently. So review your own motives for doing things. And are you really asking your heart, is your heart really in this? Is your mind telling you this is what you should do, and your heart saying, but I don't really want to? Okay, let's check in with another custom affirmation here. Thank you so much to my subscribers. I love you. I love hearing from you. Let me know what's going on with you. If you feel called to do so, please like and share this video with anybody you might think it might help. And also, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow, and I really appreciate it. I love connecting with you in this way. It is my honor. So for this next custom affirmation designed to help you with these messages to activate this guidance, write in the comment section below this video if you feel called to, I am confident. I am confident. That's where they said you're going to get so much personal power, is if you remain confident that your brilliant ideas, the projects you've recently completed, the new things you're about to start are bringing you abundance. Keep focused on what your heart wants. Okay, let's go back to the guidance here. We will have one more affirmation to seal up all this information in a beautiful golden bubble so that you can come back to it whenever you want to understand more meaning. And just a quick reminder here, I do that myself. I will come back and listen to my own angel messages from a month ago, a year ago, even several years ago when I first started my channel in 2020. And I will realize, oh my gosh, this is what was going on for me at that time. I see the way I was divinely guided, and I did listen. I will give myself credit. Or if there's something I wasn't listening to, I say, okay, that's okay. Now I know for next time. I'll even tell my team, oh, you were trying to get my attention, weren't you? And I was being stubborn and not listening. But another thing that will happen is, even if I go back and listen to a video from 2 years ago, there will be something I needed to hear now. It wasn't relevant to me back then, but it is relevant now. And that's why the angels are so efficient. They will put things in front of you and give you the opportunity to use your own free will to open up to the guidance. So again, they're not telling us what to do, but they are giving us loud and clear signs. So a quick reminder there too, ask your angels to send you loud and clear signs, because as we get to the end of this guidance, one of the main things they want you to take away from this is they want you to do what you know is right. And that means asking your heart. So that might mean having to make a decision that's going to cause a little conflict with someone else. It might mean having to make the decision to leave a friendship behind, a group of people behind, or even a project behind. And if you have to do that because that's what your heart wants, that's going to empower you as well. And it's going to help you going forward. It may feel like it's challenging. So another example they're showing me right now is maybe you plan to start a podcast with a friend or a colleague and you're just not seeing eye to eye. And it's time to go ahead and ask your heart, do I really want to do this podcast with this other person? Or do I want to do it in my own way? Do we have different motives? And if you go ahead and make that fair and just decision in a loving and compassionate way to let this other person know, you know what, I'm not in this right now. My heart's not in this. Let's put it on the back burner or pause it for right now. And then you go and work on something you want. That is going to propel you forward so much faster than staying in a situation that you know you have different motives. So really stand up for what your heart wants. And let's do one more affirmation here. I easily stand up for my beliefs. If you feel called to do so, write that in the comments below this video. I easily stand up for my beliefs. So for some of us, this does actually have to do with a current project you're in where maybe a boss or somebody who's kind of leading the project is not seeing eye to eye with you and it's hurting your heart. You're feeling stuck. Well, that's because you need to have that open and honest conversation there. Now, another piece of guidance they want you to remember that they often say to us is remember to not only choose your battles wisely, right? We want to figure out, where do I need to stand up for my beliefs? Where do I need to face this issue and make a fair and just decision? But they also want you to wait for the right time for that, right? So if you know that you have to have this heart-to-heart conversation with a spouse, with a loved one, with a boss or a colleague, but you also know they're going through a challenging time, then you're going to want to ask them to have that conversation when everybody can feel grounded. You're going to want to do it in a way that allows that heart-to-heart conversation. So it might not be a good idea to send a text message for certain situations. It might also not be a good idea to confront somebody on the spot face-to-face with it, where then they don't feel like they have an appropriate way to react, and it causes them to feel agitated and react instead of respond. So that's the other thing angels will always remind us to do, is respond instead of react. So let's say you do have this heart-to-heart conversation with a spouse or boss or somebody, and they act out of fear, they act out of anger, they act out of rejection. Try to take some space and see if you can respond instead of react to that so that the energy doesn't escalate. But for many of us, we are being asked to see where you have outgrown an energy, a situation. It could be you've outgrown your home, you've outgrown your neighborhood, you've outgrown the trajectory you are on with your career. You're ready to take a different turn with it. So you know what that is for you, and go ahead and activate that guidance by opening up to it and asking your angels for loud and clear signs. Thank you so much for being here. And remember, take time every day to connect with the angels.